time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure, so let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Buck Baits,
Better the Hunt,
Rebel 6 Rubs and Seasonings,
Easy Cut,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Packer Max,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Scent Blocker,
Scent Lock,
Copper John,
and Stanislawski Release Aids. And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal. My host, Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin, a little under the weather tonight, but Dan's going to do most of the talking, as he always does.
Well, thanks.
So, how's things going, Danny?
Excellent.
Don't give me that look.
You know, it's February 16th.
Mm-hmm.
It's sunny outside.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a couple days of actually being cold,
Yeah.
but we're halfway through the month.
Yeah. Yes, we are.
And I like that.
Looking towards turkey season.
Yes, we are. And you know what? It's cold out, but it doesn't matter because anytime you want, you can have a good cup of coffee.
That's right.
And by helping us out, you can go over to our supporters, huntersblendcoffee.com right here. And if you use the promo code, which Mike has got on the show screen, capital UNJ, on your checkout, you can get 20% off.
That's right. So, get over there and check that out.
You get over there, get some coffee, But also, we got Buck Baits, helping Buck Baits out, along helping us out. Support him and them and the sponsors over there at Buck Baits. If you use the promo code Up North Journal, you can get 20% off of your order when you check out over at buckbaits.com.
But wait, that's not all.
You know what? You had a picture this week of this out on Facebook.
I was going to cook, but I got sick.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, Rebel 6 Rubs. We've had them on the show. We use them exclusively here at the Up North Journal. And if you go over and use the promo code North Journal, you can get 20% off when you check out over there at rebel6rubs.com.
Absolutely. So there you go. Make sure you check them all out. But let's get into the show. We want to talk some turkey. And we've got none other than Tim Sias from Limb Walker Game Calls. Tim, how's it going, my man?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
Hey, we're up here enjoying this cold Michigan weather. Hey, what's the temperature like down in West Virginia?
You don't want to know.
It can't be as cold as it is up here, I wouldn't think.
Oh, no. Very nice. Actually, it's mid-50 right now.
I take that. Actually, Danny, we're supposed to hit almost 50 degrees this week, I think.
I know. We're going to be running out there in shorts.
So, well, I don't know about that. Well, I don't know. Usually when it hits 50, people here in Michigan lose their ever-loving mind coming out of winter, and they usually throw shorts on.
That's the truth. And they wear flip-flops.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's true. But, Tim, it's great to have you on the show. Once again this year, being a proud supporter of the Up North Journal. And we're going to be talking turkey because, you know what? It's going to be about that time, and turkeys are already starting to strut, right, Tim?
Some places, yes. Actually, a couple weeks ago, I got a video from a guy from up north of the state, up in Taylor County in West Virginia. There was actually two gobblers in the middle of the road fighting. So, yeah, spring spring turkeys hunting is upon us.
And I got to imagine that the guys in the South, they're getting fired up. Because do you happen to know when the first turkey season in the United States, like what state starts first?
Florida. Actually, it starts the week of the 7th of March.
March 7th, wow.
Right.
And then it works its way up through the United States, and I think Michigan's probably the last one.
Not quite. I
believe Maine actually is, to be honest with you.
Okay. So it's that spring ritual when they start the breeding season. That's when turkey season generally is. So, and they get their groove on. But so is everybody there in West Virginia getting fired up for turkey season? I mean, I know you talk turkey all the time.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of people that they see me out on the street, see me in a restaurant or something. They always talking about turkey and turkey calling, turkey season, turkey hunting. So yeah, everybody keeps me up. And I get videos all the time of different things, different little memes and the little gifts and stuff like that, and I love it. So yeah, it keeps my blood pumping.
What's the strangest thing you ever seen that somebody sent you as far as an actual video of birds in the wild? It's something that if you can remember, anything that catches your mind.
Oh yeah, North Texas. There was a ranch down there, and a guy sent me a video of the turkeys coming off the roost of the morning, and it was like 1,800 turkeys that's coming out through it.
Wow.
Really?
I mean, these turkeys just kept landing and kept landing and kept landing and kept landing. And I'm thinking if there's anywhere out, right there is where I'd love to go, North Texas,
Right.
in the northern panhandle. So that to me, when they hit the ground, I'm thinking if you don't kill turkey out of that place there, then you don't need to do that.
Right. Well, Danny, let's really just dive into this a little bit.
Right, and I just want to confirm that up here they're strutting too, because I forgot to send you this picture, but this was sent to me. This was over on Eddy Lake Road there.
Wow, we got a turkey, Tom, in full strut there behind Danny's house.
Right, so...
Wow.
But let's dive into it, Tim, because I've had some questions asked me this week that I wanted to pass on to you because you are the turkey guy. So first question out of the gate is, the question was, can they use a 410 for hunting turkey?
Well, first of all, check your hunting regulations and make sure that your hunting regulations allows you to use a caliber that small. If you are allowed, then yes, you can use a 410 with the new ammunition that's out now and the way the chokes and everything are set up for these guns. Yeah, 410. A lot of gentlemen, a lot of hunters, I should say that. A lot of hunters is leaving the 12 gauges in the gun cabinets and picking up 410s.
You know, and it's funny you say that because the question was posed to me that way because this gentleman was looking for his two daughters.
Okay.
I think they're both under 10 at this time. And so he was worried that it would be maybe too light for a turkey. What about a 20 gauge? We actually did check the regs, and I think it only stated shot size.
Shot size is the only regulation we have here in Michigan.
Yeah, that we could find. We were looking, and we could only find that I think it's 4 and up.
Right.
Was the shot size. So, Tim, in your opinion, when you're going down the 410, you talked about chokes and that definitely look into the turkey type choke for those.
Oh yeah, most definitely. There's manufacturers out there that if you have an older gun, a 410 that doesn't have the threads in them, you can send the barrels off and they can thread the barrels and they can fit your gun with a choke for a 410.
Okay, yeah. I don't know that I would want to take my old hand-me-down 410 that my grandpa or my dad gave me from years back and go take it and have it threaded. But a lot of people, I got to assume, are using something like an 870 that's already got the pre-built, the pre-threaded barrels. I mean, that would be a great option, wouldn't it?
Well, there's other manufacturers out there. The TriStar Poke Stock, they have, which is one of the turkey guns offered at your banquets this year.
Okay.
It's got the camouflage stock, the mossy oak stock, the black chamber and barrel, and it's even got a block set up for if you want to put a red dot sight on it.
Okay.
And it comes already threaded with a choke, ready to go. So actually I had a friend of mine at our state banquet. He won it. He just picked him up 2 boxes of TSS at the Harrisburg show in Pennsylvania here a couple weeks ago.
Now, you were talking about the different ammunitions that they're starting to build for these. I didn't even know that they made 410 specific ammo for turkeys. I've never seen it on the shelf. You talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, the TSS that's coming out. There's different manufacturers that makes ammunition that is out there. There's several brands that you can get, and they are making the 410 caliber, gauge for TSS for shotguns. And that's why you're seeing a lot of men. And I guess I'm saying men because a lot of guys are leaving. They don't want to tote the big 12 gauge around anymore.
Okay.
They're wanting to leave them in a gun cabinet, pick up that little 410 and even the 20 gauge. And we say that because it's a lot lighter.
Right.
And walking around the mountains in the turkey woods and stuff, when you're walking and if you're running and gunning or however you want to do it, the less weight you're carrying, the better off you are.
Hey, that's been an option that I've talked about a couple of times here on the show before is the 20 gauge. The youth model 870. It's just a light gun. It's a lot shorter. You can swing it around a lot quicker in the woods, especially if you're in some cover that it might be a little bit thicker that you're dealing with trying to get through to get to a spot. But I really like carrying a lighter gun, to tell you the truth.
Well, it's let me put it to you like this. I had a guy tell me a couple of years ago, we was talking about a 9mm, a 40 caliber, and a 45 caliber handgun. And, there's a lot of significance in what you paying for the ammunition, and if not as well as the gun. Mm-hmm. And the guy told me, he said, Tim, they've come now to where everything is almost meeting in the middle. When you take a 9mm and a 45 and meet it together, it's almost the same. So it's going to be preference of what you want to use and because of the way everything's set up with the ballistics. And it's the same way with a shotgun and the 12 gauge, 20 gauge, 16 gauge, 10 gauge. I know some guys that's got a 10 gauge that they carry out. This TSS has cut down so much of the guessing compared to what it used to be with your regular turkey loads. Now, with that being said, let me say this. I'm not whatsoever saying anything bad about the regular turkey loads because I still have plenty of them and I will use them. But it's a preference of what each hunter wants to use and how it goes. So,
plus it's also how your gun shoots it, right? Shoots the load.
Yeah, you still got to get out and pattern your gun. I mean, you might buy a new choke this year, and you're going to have to get out and pattern and see, make sure that it's shooting the way you want to shoot. If not, you may end up putting back the regular choke you had the last 3 years in it. So, who knows?
And speaking of patterning your gun with a choke, what's like an average distance that you should pattern in? I know over here at our local range over at Williams there, I want to say it's 25 or 30 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I get out about 40, 45 yards is what I do with mine. I set out my target about 45 yards. My shoot and see target is what I call them. And I, got my rest and everything and do it about 45. And I'll change the ammo. I'll shoot different ammo. I'll shoot different chokes. But to be honest with you, when it comes right back to it, I always go back to the one that I've always used.
Now, you're talking about this new TSS ammo. That's something you've kind of taken on to. Have you got any there that you could actually show the people?
Yeah. This is a box that I just got here the other day, and TSS is expensive ammunition, but this is going to be given away. There's a gentleman by the name of Robert Teal. He come up with this and with this idea. He's helping us with our chapter banquet. We're taking on. I'm trying to raise money for our Jake's Fishing Day for this summer.
Okay.
And he donated some that at our chapter banquet. I have 3 chokes from 3 different manufacturers that donated a choke.
Okay.
So Robert donated 3 boxes of TSS that's going with it. So we're going to be auctioning that off at our banquet. But he also said the people that's donating, we're going to put their names in a hat 2 weeks on the 28th on my Live on the Limb.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that's donated, I'm going to put their name in a hat. And I'm going to draw one name out for a box of Federal TSS 12 gauge.
There you go.
9 shot.
So, okay, now we got some people online here, or people that's listened to our podcast this week. If they want to donate, how do they go about donating to that cause?
You can PM me through Facebook at Tim Sias, and I will give you the information of if you want to mail in the donation or if you want to, send it through PayPal, either way that you feel comfortable.
Okay.
And as long as I've got it before 8 o'clock on Friday, February the 28th, before I go live on the limb, your name will be put in the hat for that.
And for maybe there's people that are watching that really don't know what the Jake's organization is, part of the NWTF, but explain to them a little bit about the Jakes.
Okay, the Jakes is for the children, anybody that's under the age of 17. And it is, just like I said, a juvenile, just like a juvenile turkey is a Jake. So the kids that helps out and does the things with our chapter banquets that we call them Jakes. We take them in the spring. We go out 2 times in the spring on youth hunts. Here in West Virginia, we have 2 days of youth hunting, so we take 5 hunters out each day on it. And the way you can register is you come with your mom and dad to the chapter banquet. During the banquet's going on, you sign up for your Jake's membership, and we pull your name out. Then in the summer, we have what we have is a Jake's Fishing Day, and we have a private pond at a Boy Scout camp here in southern West Virginia, where our chapter is, and they allow us to stock the pond, and we try to average 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
And we invite all the kids, in the southern West Virginia, you can, no matter how far you work, out of state if you want to come. I mean, it's for the kids. They come and fish, and we offer free food, have free lunch and drinks. A lot of the area businesses will donate door prizes, so the kids can get door prizes, and whatever they catch, they keep and can take home.
That's awesome. They can catch a meal.
Yep, catch a meal. They can get a meal while they're there, and they can catch it and take supper home.
It's nice that you can use a pond down there, because up here at the Jake's Day, they use a pool.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they put trout, a little, well, they're not real little. They're 12-inch trout they put in there. They get from one of the local fish supply places, and they fish them out of a kid pool is what they do.
Right, exactly. So
So
we were able to use the Boy Scout camp. They, when all their festivity is over with, and we usually try to have the first part of summer right after school's over with, and get everybody riled up to get out and enjoy the day. Sometimes we're able to have a few other little things that goes on there. Sometimes we'll have like the BB tent, and they can shoot the BB guns. There might be last year we had an archery. Kids go shoot a bow. It's regular. It's a compound. Compound and a recurve and the long bows. They can shoot them at targets. So, and a lot of stuff is donated. Like I said, we have a man or a woman, him and his wife. They donate the food, cook it, prepare it, and bring it. And the drinks is donated by area businesses. Plus, people may donate to free it, but I try to do something at the banquet to raise the money because, to be honest with you, catfish ain't cheap.
No.
And we try to average 800 to 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
All right. Excellent.
And we average anywhere between 100 to 125 people.
Wow. That's nice. That's awesome. Hey, how about we take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk more?
All right. We're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Next segment of the show. Tim, right before we went to break there, we were talking about, working with the Jakes and people that might want to donate. And you mentioned Live on the Limb. We've got to give you props for the show. Tim does a show just like what we're doing right now. He does live Friday nights at 8 o'clock, Live on the Limb on Facebook. Is that right, Tim?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hour long. People chat, ask questions. Problem is, 9 times out of 10 this time of the year, I'm busy shooting basketball. So honestly, when I'm listening in, I'm usually sitting somewhere eating dinner, but I'll pop it on if I'm at a McDonald's or whatever. Now that's usually where I watch.
He's got viewers from all over the world, which is kind of cool. So I was peeking in on there. I think I was in on Friday night, and there was I think a gentleman you said was from Japan. I think
China.
There
Okay.
you go. Yep. So
he actually manufactures the TSS over there.
Okay.
Okay. So so I saw that and I thought that was pretty cool. But every Friday night, 8 o'clock, Tim gets on there, does his live Facebook like we do on Sunday afternoons, and anything turkey.
There you go. So get over there and check it out. Definitely, it's a good time. And sometimes you're like us. You chase a little bit of a rabbit, and all of a sudden we're talking about something else. Besides what we originally thought we were going to talk about. So that's always fun.
Yeah, I used to try to have some sort of subject coming there, and then things have changed. Which anymore now, I just it's an open mic, I guess you could say. And I do have a lot of great guys that comes on and they check everything out. They throw out a subject to talk about, and it always seems to be interesting by the time 9 o'clock comes around.
And then you get 2 yahoos from up in Michigan that get in there and mess it all up,
right?
No.
Tim, in the first segment we talked about what gun, what size, what gauge, shot. How about we talk a little bit about your setup when you're, kind of give us a to Z look as, here I am. I got a turkey license in my hand.
Right now, but even before season, maybe some pre-scouting.
Yeah, what should I be doing pre-scout as we head towards April here in Michigan, or you down there in your neck of the woods?
Well, actually, I don't think really the turkeys are starting to separate yet and to go in their own little flocks or little harems, if you want to call it. But things is going to start getting by the time a month from now, a lot of things is going to be changing. A lot of people is going to be seeing a lot more gobblers with hens. Actually, I had a gentleman message me yesterday that he saw 12 gobblers in one field, not one hen. Now, 30 days from now, you might see 12 hens and one gobbler. So now make sure you got everything set up get your calls lined out, get your calls conditioned, practice as always. Be prepared. Now, if you want to get out, set out a game camera. And people know where the turkey is going to be going through. If you're on private land and it's your land to hunt, and you've got feeders out there and stuff, and they come to those feeders, or the areas that they may roost, they travel through and stuff. Put them out and check and see what you got. See how many pictures you got of them. It's getting to be. I mean, it's that time of the year where things are going to start coming alive. I mean, springtime, and everything's going to start budding out. Trees are going to be budding. The birds are going to be singing, and the turkey's going to be gobbling, and it's going to be right upon us. So, I always said to myself, to each their own. I hunt in an area that I know there's a lot of turkeys, so I try not to disturb them.
Okay,
but that's just me.
What about if you're thinking about trying a new piece of public land or something like that, and if you can go out for a walk today or something, like up here we got snow, would it be good to go out, take a walk, and start looking for some tracks in the snow or mud or whatever you can find?
Oh yeah, anytime was to get out there and look for scratching, look for tracking, like you said. And the snow's even better. Snow's the best tracking you can get. It'd be turkey, deer, bear, whatever. It's always the best. But yeah, if you go for a little walk, you like to get out and look, see, and use your Onyx app on your phone, and put a waypoint on of, hey, I saw turkey tracks here, and I was at this one at this place, and and check everything out that way. Keep a mental note of it.
Will they still be in the general area that they are today, as they will be in that month from now?
Yes.
Okay. So now, you can't bump them off.
Let me say this to you. This is you can talk to a lot of people. You take 5 turkey hunters that you guys know that are diehard turkey hunters that are out there, and they check and they know where their flocks is. Okay, they know when they go out on their first day of turkey season where they're going to be turkeys going to be gobbling, where they're going to be roosting and stuff. Guarantee you can go there right there, and you can talk to them right now, and you can say, hey, have y'all seen any turkeys? And they'll say, man, we ain't seen nothing all year. Turkeys tend to leave their area for other areas during different parts of the year. And I'm going to use this analogy I guess I'm saying that right, to try to I hope people understand. Because I've said this on the limb, and you take your wife, and say you and your wife has had multiple children. After the first one, when she found out she was pregnant, you went back to the same doctor and you went back to the same hospital. Why did you do that? Because she felt comfortable with that doctor and you felt safe in that hospital. Mm-hmm. You had a third child. Where did you go? You went back to the same doctor, to the same hospital. That's the same way with an animal, especially a turkey, a hen turkey. When they know that they're going to be starting to lay their hatch, and they know where they're protected at, turkeys will go back to their safe havens. So watch when it's time for them to start laying is when you're going to start seeing the turkeys.
Okay, that makes sense.
It makes sense. It absolutely does. And, so now's a good time to get out there, start looking when you can, and start, getting your ideas. Like you said, Tim says get out there, get sighted in at a good distance. He likes 40. I know our range can get up to 30 out there at Williams. But, yeah, it doesn't sound like it's time to start.
Well, looking at the breeding season, when it starts to kick in and the flocks start breaking up into their smaller groups, is that – I think I already know the answer to this, but is it weather dependent or is it daylight dependent? As the days get longer, their bodies, their biological clock or whatever inside the turkeys, they know that it's breeding season by the daylight versus the weather pattern.
Personally, to myself, I think it's a little bit of both, but I'm going to say it's like 75% more of the daylight.
Okay.
But I also believe too. Now, turkeys breed, in the springtime, they breed when it's 30 degrees outside, or if it's 60 degrees, they don't really matter. I mean, but it has a lot to do with the daylight.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I mean, up at our deer camp, I've hunted up there before the early turkey season, and more times than not, there's snow on the ground the first week, quite often. So I figured it had more to do with the amount of daylight versus it was the actual temperature or the weather. Now, with that being said, we've often heard about a hatch being viable, or hey, we had a bad season for hatches, a wet season. Now, cold, snow, rain, that's what affects the hatches.
Yeah, that will do it. I mean, if you have a lot of water that's a lot of rain, mm-hmm. and it's going to flood your little creeks and stuff coming out of the hollows and stuff like that. Of course, it's going to go through the nest unless she's got to build up in an old tree somewhere or an old stump that the water's not going to get in it. But if it's just right off the side somewhere and stuff like that, yeah, the water's going to damage the nest.
Okay. Can you while you're out there, can you call to him now, or should you hold off on calling to him?
Danny, personally, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't call none at all because I do not want to educate the turkey. I just go out. I'll go out. If I go out and look around, stuff like that, I just go out and listen. I get out there before daylight. I'll get out there and I'll listen for the owls. Owls will wake them up. The hoot owls get them going. Then when I hear the gobblers and try to locate them, see where they're roosting in the general areas, I leave them alone. I don't call to them.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of anybody that really went out and practiced and tried to practice on live birds. It's like you said, educating them is, I think that's a big no-no. Unless you got them behind the house here like I do, and you can't hunt them anyway, and you got something to mess around with just to
Right?
just to mess with them. But the farmer won't let me hunt on the property. He doesn't let anybody hunt on the property behind us. So yeah, I'll mess with them back there occasionally.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's a little fun.
Yeah.
Get out and play with it. There's not a thing wrong with that.
So just go to somebody else's area and screw up their area.
Yeah, right. Let's go stand on the road next to some private land and call those birds that you can't hunt. Yeah, I think that'd get you in trouble with somebody probably.
Right?
Oh, that's good stuff.
But yeah, so getting out scouting is not going to hurt. Wouldn't, as Tim says, wouldn't try calling to him. Getting out looking for him, getting your gun taken care of. That's all the things that needs to start building up as we head towards spring in the season here. So that's kind of cool. The next thing, do we want to, do I need to run out and buy a turkey decoy? Do I need to go out and buy a Avian X, or what do I need to do? Do I need decoys? Don't I need decoys? What do you think, Tim?
Each your own.
Do you like decoys?
No, I don't.
I generally don't run with decoys either. To me, it's just more added weight. Well, speaking of that, on your setups, are you a guy who likes to set up in a spot and get there early and just set up because birds are crossing through, or are you a guy that gets out, locates birds, sets up on them, and then run and gun?
Run and gun.
Okay.
Run and gun. That's the way. Yeah, because I'll get out. And I don't normally go in. Like I said, the area that I've hunted and everything the last few years, I know turkeys are in there, and I know that where they're going to be at, and I know where I can, how I can get into it without disturbing them, without bumping them. So I'll get in, I'll listen, and if I don't get the, Mr. Hooter don't start his little thing of the morning to reel, then I'll get mine out, get it going, and then locate them. And then if there's multiple birds there, multiple turkeys, and I'll say, okay, which one do I want to go to? Which one's closer? Which one seems more excited? Mm-hmm. So I'll figure it out, and then I'll go to it. And I'll run over, and then I'll go to him.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we go ahead and we take our second break? We come back. We know you make calls. We want to hear some turkey call. So we'll let you get your calls ready. We're going to step outside, take our next break. When we come back, we'll let you talk a little turkey to us.
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show. We're talking turkey with Tim Sias from Lem Walker Game Calls. And Tim, you've partnered with us here. We run your calls. Absolutely love them. And with that being said, for somebody who's just starting out turkey hunting, what kind of call would you recommend for them to start with?
To start out with is something simple, and that would be a slate call, pot call, friction call.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a basic cluck, maybe a little purr. If you want to get a little excited with it, you can it has multiple uses with it. You can just do different things. But a basic slate call with a hickory striker.
The biggest problem I've got when I'm showing people how to call or teaching them like a first timer is how to hold the striker and how to hold it towards the actual pot and move it. Can you hold that up to the camera there so you can kind of show what you're doing?
Can you see it there?
Yep.
Okay. I'm holding it with my fingers, basically. A lot of people will put it in their hand.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will hold it like a snuff can or however you want to do it. But you just kind of, the top of the striker,
mm-hmm.
hold it away from you, put it on the side, and then just small circles.
It's as simple as that, folks. And the pressure you're putting on is about like what you'd use when you're writing with a pencil, is the way I describe it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold it just like a pencil. Hold it just like you're going to do your pencil. Hold the top of it away from you. And it just, and now they make different strikers, different sounds, different woods. And here's a rosewood that.
And that's the same call you had. It just elicits a little different sound depending on what striker you're using.
Yep. Then now here's my favorite of all. Crystal. That's crystal, and I killed a lot of turkeys with crystal. So it's just, to each your own of what you want to do.
Right. And kind of what I've learned is if one sound's not eliciting any response, you might try a different striker, you might try a different slate call or a different surface of a call, whether it be slate, whether it be crystal, whether it be
just
ceramic or some other material. To get, I guess birds are like us. There's certain things that they'll respond to and certain things they won't. It just depends upon the bird.
And then you also got your box calls. A lot of box call makers out there private. They make great ones. Jeff White Custom Calls here in West Virginia. Actually, I run his calls.
Okay.
His boxes. They're real good. Jeff White. You can find him here on Facebook.
Okay.
And then, let's not forget this. The mouth call. Now, I make the pot calls, Lim Walker game calls is all friction calls. But a friend of mine named Donnie Williams down in Apex, North Carolina, makes some real good mouth calls. And this is his bat wing. I don't know if you can see the bat wing on it.
Yep.
That's my favorite cut that I like in a mouth call. And I just actually got these in on Friday. Donnie makes some real great ones. Look him up. He's on Facebook. He's actually going to donate some calls, and me and him are going to do another little fundraiser for my Jake's Day. But look him up. He makes some awesome calls. Love one of these calls.
Now, is that a small frame or a regular frame, or does he make them both?
Now this was actually a large frame. This is, and I cut the paper. I have to cut the tape.
Okay.
I should say not paper, but the tape, because guys, I'm a big guy, but my palate and the roof of my mouth is small, and I cannot fit a full one up in it without the gag reflex. So I have to cut mine.
Yeah, I understand that.
So this was actually, as soon as I got it in, I started trimming them, and I put them in, and that's how I can run them. If I don't do it, I can't run them.
Okay, so that's another thing about mouth calls that people should know is they do have two types. They got a small frame and a regular frame. And
youth frame they call it, and then an adult frame. Yeah.
Yeah, and I go with a small frame, and they work better than like he said, you start gagging at them.
You use a small frame. You can't fit a large frame in that mouth of yours.
No, I cannot.
He left himself wide open.
Yeah, I did.
I'm sorry.
No, that's cool though. But that's the thing, and that's something you can practice on your way to work. Mm-hmm. you look kind of goofy, but hey, they're not listening to you when they're driving by you.
What's really nice is when I have mine with me and I'll take them to work, I'll be walking down the hall and walking away from somebody, and we got this one hall. It's really long. And you start running them call, and they start looking around like, what in the world? What is going on? You get some really good reactions that way. It's pretty.
They don't know where it's coming from. They know they don't know what it is. They don't know who's doing it, but they know they hear something.
Right. It's like somebody's turned a turkey loose here in the building. So
and that's the thing. And so with all the calls that you got here, pot call, box call, mouth call, practice it, right? Anytime, just you start practicing it.
My dad told me, he handed me my first lynch box call when I was 17 years old and said, practice, practice, practice. And that's what I tell everybody. Practice, practice, practice. Now, I'm not telling the kids to go do it running down the hallway or doing it like that to aggravate your mom, because I'm going to tell you something. When I sell somebody, I sell a kid, a youngster, a call, and they're so excited and they're ready to do it. I look at their mom and says, I'm sorry.
Right?
And I've actually had them to message me, because they look at me like, what are you talking about? And then I've actually had them to message me and say, now I know what you mean by saying I'm sorry.
Right.
So, but it's fun. But they don't say that. It's great as far as that goes. But
they could be doing something else. They could be doing something else. It's a whole lot worse. So
exactly. Exactly. That's actually, believe it or not, Mike, I had a mother tell me that, and she said she don't care one bit as long as that keeps him interested in doing something with the outdoors and stuff.
Right.
And speaking of mouth calls, just on average, how long should you keep one? Should you get new ones every year? Can you keep them? Can you dunk them in mouthwash? Take care of them? I know eventually the tape will go on them eventually and kind of gets all messed up. But what's your average life of a typical mouth call?
Danny, there's guys that's got them that I'd say that is probably several years old, to be honest with you. And if you keep them clean, keep them like with the mouthwash, they actually make little picks, and I don't know where you can get them from. Some people will actually use a toothpick to stick in between the reeds to clean, and then like soak them in mouthwash and things like that and rinse them off. People does that. I mean, as long as you do maintenance with them and clean them and stuff, you can keep them for as long as you want.
Okay, because I was wondering about that. I know I got some that just wear out, and it's like, okay, I wore through the tape.
My habit is, my bad thing that I have with mine is that, see, I will use my calls, my friction calls, my pot calls while I'm working the turkey. And then when I know that he's coming, I set it down and I have my mouth call. But I want to do this right here. You see what I'm saying, what I'm doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll chew on the tape. And when I'm ready when I'm ready to use it, then and then
put it back.
That's what I do. Some people will put them in the side of their jaws. Some people, do different things. I got my teeth and I'm holding it and I'm chewing on it.
And then you hear boom,
right?
And then flop, 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 flop.
Go get him.
Yeah, and the thing I like about that is you get them in, like you said, you get them in close. You work them with your pot call, and then you go to the mouth call. It allows you to be hands free at that point, and then you can concentrate on getting your hands where they need to be on your shotgun, so you can take the shot.
Right. When you know he's within 100 yards, set that call down, put your mouth call in, and start working it. So that's why I'm saying when you practice with everything. You practice with your pot calls, you practice with your box calls, your mouth call. And there's a lot of guys too will actually use wingbone calls. That is, that's a lot of things that's come back a lot where people's using those.
Mm-hmm.
And trumpets. A lot of people actually using trumpets. There's people from all over that's making these different type of calls like that too. And hey, look, a turkey, a Native American Indian didn't have none of this stuff back in the day. They were using the wing bones.
Right.
So that's the oldest call there is in that, known to man. And it from back in the day to now, however long you want to put that time, they're still using them and they're still killing them with it. I guarantee you can sit there and you can use and suck on that wing bone call and you'll, how in the world am I going to call a turkey? You take that out and you sit out there outside when that turkey does not answer nothing. Pull that wing bone call out. If there's a gobbler around that can hear it, he'll gobble.
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to know how in the world they ever came up with the idea, number one, to make that, to put those three bones together and then to use that to call a bird. I mean, what in their mind triggered that response for them to say, I got to try this? You know, I mean, they're innovative. It's a really neat piece of gear to have.
Yeah. Well, you know, as you can, you know, an Indian or a mountain man, however you want to put it, they don't let anything of the animal go to waste.
Right.
So even after the meat, I mean, they'll use the bones for certain things. They'll use the bones. They used to use the bones for knives, some type of weapons. And I'm sure at one time or another, there was somebody sitting there that hollowed out that marrow out of these bones and put them together and started either blowing or sucking and found what happened.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing.
One time or another. But yeah, it is. It really is.
Well, they sure weren't going to flip on the TV and watch something.
No. Or the internet and watch us and Tim talk about it. So.
Right. So they had a little time around the fire, probably.
Yeah, right.
But like you said, Tim, they didn't let anything go to waste. That was the key, right? From the feathers on arrows to bones on a call, to a turkey foot back scratcher.
Yeah.
Or a head scratcher for some people.
That's here. My buddy Ed Thorne, he made that and give that to me here a couple weeks ago, and I'm going to tell you something, fellas. This thing really comes in handy.
It gave me the idea when I saw you use it. I'm like, wow, I got a few of those I could make.
Right? Hey, like I said, don't let anything go to waste.
He calls it creepy. He says, he asked me the other night, Friday night, he said, where's that creepy turkey foot at yours? So
I have to admit, the first time I saw it, I was watching your live on the limb, and I was just kind of watching it from a distance. And I actually thought it was like a skeleton hand at first. I'm like, what in the world has he got?
Right.
I was sitting here and I was watching. I can watch myself, you know, with live on limb. I watch it through there, and you know, I'm sitting there and I'm doing this, scratching my head. and then a couple of buddies like, what in the world are you doing?
Right. You know, and all kidding aside, you know, you talk about turkey calls and whatnot, and turkeys responding. Turkeys will also come in silent, so you should be ready at all times. Like you were talking about the pot call and putting it down when you know, and the mouth call, but sometimes they just show up.
Oh yeah, I've been busted several times like that. Yeah, there's a couple of stories in particular that I could talk. I mean, if we had time, if we had 2 more hours, but I mean, I was actually hunting with a coworker, and he kept saying, "Don't show up. This is where they come. This is where they do." And yeah, they never gobbled a bit and had them come in. We killed one, but I mean, that's never gobbled the first time.
See, and that's the thing. They're very unpredictable, or they might come in gobbling their head off. And once you call them once, that's all you needed, because they're tracking in and they're not stopping
on a beeline. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So, or they just show up,
or you think they're going to come in one direction, and they're actually going to come in, and they actually come in another direction. That's when you're like, hey, how'd that happen?
They didn't follow the script.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and,
right.
And weather, it really is. I've killed a turkey in snow, and I've killed them practically, you know, wearing shorts. It's like, because here in Michigan for that week, that's that is not a typical week of Michigan hunting, where you either are starting off freezing to warm to cold or something. But that's a Michigan week here of hunting. But yeah, absolutely. So you got to be ready for them at all times.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead. We'll take our last break, and we come back. We'll wrap up the show. We'll talk a little bit. We'll maybe talk about a hunt or something that you've been on here, Tim.
We got to talk about how we cook the bird.
Well, we got to talk about that, too.
Because we've done everything to get the bird, except how to
we got to do it. We got to take it field to fork.
That's right.
All right, we'll step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. For those of you on the podcast, you really need to watch the live stream, because we had a nice little talk in the commercial break about Kool-Aid and treat.
Treat me.
It is not what you think it would typically be a conversation on. So that's all I'm going to say. You need to go back and watch in this commercial break. That's all I can tell you.
Right? Exactly. You know. We talked about Tim. We talked about what to use to shoot them, decoys, how to call them, the whole 9 yards. And you finally put it all together one day, and you get one. You got him. He's standing there. You shoot him. You got him. Now you're holding him. Got him. Now what do you do with him? How do you like yours?
You take them home and cook them.
Well,
clean them and cook them.
Do you use the whole bird, or do you just breast them out?
I just breast mine out. And I tell you the reason why. My dad broke me of it. Bless his heart. He, God rest his soul. That man would not let me throw nothing away, and he would eat the legs and the thighs. And to me, I told him, I said, Dad, it's like eating shoe leather. Why do you keep doing that? But I just take them, lay them on the back, and just right through the breast. Just start picking it apart, picking the skin, cutting it, go right down both sides of the breastbone, and that big piece of white fillet meat just lays over. And I'll take it, prepare it, clean it, make sure that, got all the buckshot pellets out of it and things of that nature. And then I'll cut them in strips, and I'll roll it in seasoning. I may use just regular cornmeal and flour and salt and pepper, or I may stop at the grocery store and pick up something, and then I use peanut oil and deep fried in peanut oil.
Okay, so you like yours deep fried then?
Yeah, because personally, if you bake them, I think bake them and cook them stuff like that, they're going to be real dry. You give it a little bit of moisture when you're deep fried in it, and the peanut oil is a lot more healthier. You can even use EVOO or even the coconut oil now. That's even more healthier than the peanut oil. But yeah, and I have a niece. I have to call her and tell her, hey, I'm frying this turkey. I'll be right there. And her and her husband comes up and they'll eat. And I have to watch her around and say, hey, save me a piece. Her and my little girl, they'll start dipping and going with it. So yeah, they'll eat them.
Well, I think that's part of the problem is people. If they cook it too quick, or like you said, or they bake it, it bakes all the juice because it's a dry meat. If you're not careful, you can make it really dry.
Yeah,
that's the biggest
regardless of how much you baste it or whatever, even if you put the whole turkey in, or you got to look at something. These ain't the 20-pound butter balls.
Mm-hmm. No, they're not.
You got a 20-pound butter ball that's in the package that's 20 pounds. When you get through with this turkey, if you take the whole turkey and dress it out and you get it clean and stuff, if it weighs out beforehand at, say, 18 pounds, you might have a 14-pound turkey. So you have to watch how you cook. And it ain't, like I said, it's not the store-bought. But you just can't baste them just like a regular butter ball. They don't have the skin on them. They don't have the fat and everything on it. It's pure 100% protein that you got. And you deep fry it. If you put it down in a deep fryer, I don't recommend it. You won't overcook it. I just like cutting the breast off, preparing it, cleaning it, and rolling it in flour and deep frying it that way.
So Dusty says, bake the breast, wrap in aluminum foil, 1.5 cups of vinegar, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, butter, other seasonings you want, pepper, onions, and smoke it. Nice.
I don't smoke much food. I don't do any of that. That's one thing that I'm not. I've been around it and everything, but as far as doing it, I've never really smoked none of my food. So I guess it's something I'm gonna have to get some information off of Dusty here, and then let him give me bend his ear and tell me what to do and get a smoker.
Right, exactly. See, the last one I got, I had a gentleman smoke it for me, and that was really good. I'll admit that was awesome.
Now, as far as venison or ribs or roast and things like that, brisket, now that's the next best thing to cheese popcorn. But when it comes to like turkeys and stuff, that's one thing I've never really done is eat smoked meat.
Well, we've talked about everything from killing the bird, or scouting the bird, killing the bird, eating the bird, the whole 9 yards. Now
I'm hungry.
Now I'm hungry. But you've hunted a lot of birds. You've killed a lot of birds and hunted all over down there in West Virginia. In your mind, what's next? The next thing that you'd like to see you yourself do where would you like to go hunt birds at? If you had an open book and it said I could go anywhere to hunt turkeys, where would you go?
Texas.
Why is that?
The birds. They're everywhere. It's like I told you at the beginning of the show, where the video where they showed the North Texas of all them turkeys was landing in that field.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it for one, I've never been to Texas.
Okay.
We put it like that. But there are just so many turkeys in Texas, and it's just an experience that I would love to be able to have, to go to Texas, hunt those big ranches down there and kill one of those big Rios. And there's two close ones. I should say this. I want to hunt Wyoming around Devil's Tower, kill a Miriam at Devil's Tower, and have a picture with Devil's Tower in the back of the turkey, in the back of me posing with the turkey.
That would be awesome.
Right.
So that's something that those two right there is probably too close, that's neck and neck with one another.
Okay. Well, you didn't mention the Osceolas. Is that something else that you'd like to do is get the Grand Slam?
I would love to get the Grand Slam, but that would be probably my third.
Okay.
That would be my third. But like you said, if I had the opportunity of going anywhere, doing anything, hunting anywhere that I wanted to hunt, Texas would be the place that I'd want to go.
Okay.
It's just something that's something that I have.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. It's that, like you said, Texas, and I tell you what, coming off the NWTF convention that was this past weekend, if you can't get fired up about all this stuff, man.
Right. Did you happen to watch any of the National Turkey Calling Championship?
Hit and miss on it. I was wanting to watch something yesterday, and I was away from any type of internet, and I did catch some of it yesterday evening. And I'll be honest with you, after you see who won and stuff, I just went ahead and fast forwarded to the end and got the results of like the top 5. But I did try to watch some of the preliminaries on Friday, and I was really, really kind of busy and couldn't do it.
Is that something that you're taking a liking to, is getting into calling competitions?
I was trying to. I mean, I'm not like these guys here. These guys that does this, I tell you what, my hat's off to them, because these boys do not make no mistakes. I mean, they're perfect with their calls, and they rack them off. I mean, just perfect. But I'm going to be honest with you. My Grand National Calling Championship is going to be the first day of turkey season here in West Virginia.
Right.
And if I pull the trigger on one and it starts flopping, then I've got my trophy.
There you go.
And I'm not taking nothing from those guys on them stages. I mean, if you look, Matt Van Sice won the Open and the Friction. And that fella there, he's awesome. I really enjoy listening to him call. He's, like I said, that old boy, he don't make no mistakes.
But on that same, talking about the guys who do that, and they're as good as they are, that's not the type of calls you're actually going to use when you're out in the field to call a bird.
I don't think those guys do. I believe they have their contest calls, and then they have their hunting calls. I know I did I've been in a few of them, and I've made some for the contest, and then I've got my hunting calls.
Right. I got you. Well, we'd be doing you a disservice if we didn't talk about your calls a little bit. You were showing them there, playing them, but let's talk a little bit about your calls and what you've got available that people can actually get in touch with you and purchase.
Okay. You can find me here on Facebook at Lem Walker Game Calls, or you can message me through Tim Sias. And I offer the 3.5-inch friction pot calls, which is my wood is wild cherry, and I have black walnut, and I actually have some cottonwood that I made some for a special guy here not too long ago, and I had some left over. But I offer the 3.5-inch surface, which is slate, glass, crystal, ceramic, aluminum, and when I can get it, the red slate, that's another one of my favorite surfaces. So, and it's your choice of, like I said, either wild cherry or black walnut in your pot. Is there a difference in sound? sometimes I really believe the wild cherry, which is any other time I would have them all over me. That's not a wild cherry, but it's a lighter wood like this right here, and you can get a different sound compared to this of the black walnut. It's a little deeper, and it all has to do with the fibers of the wood. Now this is tiger wood.
Okay.
And it comes from, I got it down North Carolina. It's very dense, very thin, and you can see how light it is. This has got my crystal in it. This is crystal over slate with the slate soundboard. It makes a real good sound. So, but a lot of people like black walnut too. You want a deep call, a deep sound. Black walnut is good. You know, to me, it's a little raspy. Sometimes the cherry, you can get a little light or higher pitch.
Okay.
So, but it also has to do with your strikers. Also of location. Another guy asked me the other night, he said, is there any difference of the location of your calls? Well, and I showed him on the call, you go in the center of the call, it's going to be a lot deeper compared to the outside of the call. That's when you know you've got a good call. If you can go out to the edge of the call, and what I mean is this, I hope I can do it with this, but in the center, and then you go to the outside. Can you tell the difference on it?
Yep.
So that's you can work the outside of the inside, and I mean that's how you can tell you got a good call with the difference. And that's just that little bit of space there.
You're getting a little more of a pitch change out of it.
Yeah, the outside is going to be a lot higher.
Which is going to sound a little more like probably like a younger bird than an old raspy hen.
Yep, younger hen. Yeah, and then if you want the old hag raspy, go to the center of it and start calling there on the center, and that'll a lot older hen that way. And to be honest, I personally believe a lot of the older gobblers prefer the older hen.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that too. And speaking with experience with Mike, the older hens try to run the field or wherever they're at, and you get them cheesed off at you. You drum interest from everyone.
Oh yeah, that's big difference. It's the pecking order. The oldest is the pecking order.
Yep, exactly.
Yep, and they've got their society and their pecking order, and it has to be determined, and that's all a part of what's about to go on in the next couple of months. Is that's going to get established here, and literally they'll beat each other up over it.
Right.
Yeah, we're here in the middle of February. We got 2 weeks left of February. Now, if Puxatawny Field was right, and we're going to have an early spring, then things are going to be changing, but. I don't think that thing ever is, but let's put it to you like this: within the next 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, you're going to see you're going to hear and see a lot of different things when it comes. If you pay attention on Facebook, and people posting, "Hey, saw a flock of turkeys today. There were 5 hens and a big gobbler and a couple of jakes." Then compared to now, was like my buddy messaged me yesterday. Saw 12 gobblers and no hen. It's just going to change overnight, just like with whitetail deer.
Yeah.
First of October, hey, I saw 5 bucks running up the field the other day as we was going out there to go here.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of November, saw 3 does and had that little 8-point chasing them.
Yep. No, that's a true statement. You're right.
Yeah, time of the year changes everything. Whether it's in the fall or the spring, either one. It's amazing how it changes animals overnight.
Yeah, it's different animals, but the same concept of the way everything goes with breeding.
Yep, absolutely. So, but I tell you what, we're running up here on the end of the show. Once again, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, Lim Walker Game Calls,
right here on Facebook.
On Facebook, you got a Facebook page for that, and you've also got your own personal page. They can get a hold of you on Facebook as well, right, Tim?
Either way, yep.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, for those of you on the podcast, that'll do it for us this week. We'll be back again next week. We're hoping to head to Indiana.
Yep.
For the Deer and Turkey Spectacular down there. So we'll be down there checking that out. and we'll bring you back news from that show. But that'll do it for us on the podcast this week, folks. We'll be back again next week.
And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. This episode was brought to you by
PSE Archery,
Buck Baits,
Better the Hunt,
Rebel 6 Rubs and Seasonings,
Easy Cut,
Lim Walker Game Calls,
Hunters Playing Coffee,
Packer Max,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Scent Blocker,
Scent Lock,
Copper John,
and Stanislawski Release Aids.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.